basically finished off with, we're talking about what he said. He said, you live to be, not to have. You live to create, not to consume. And there's so much to those two short little sentences. And we were talking about that a lot last week. So this week I just want to continue with it. This is in, I think it's the Neotech 2 Key book. It's in the Frank R. Wallace collection, and we're on page 289 right now. It's also in the Prime Discovery, but I'm not sure which book it's in. Do you remember?
It's in book 4. Yes, Charlie. It's in book 4, page 288 and 289.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. So Frank R. Wallace continues here, and he says, "You as a Zon are eternally protected by honesty and reality. You are always advancing in real space-time to ever greater accomplishments, continually decreasing the entropy of existence, continually making order out of disorder. Thus, nothing in the anti-civilization can really harm or affect your progress in moving through space-time towards eternal life and prosperity. We just brush the anti-civilization off our shoulders. We just flick it off. It doesn't penetrate us because we have a goal to end this anti-civilization. So why would I want to participate in it? But that's how you start getting stronger and stronger, by just brushing it off. And don't let it get to you. Because at this moment, you can experience the first glimpse of how you are, of how as Zon functions among you fellow human beings in this AC world. You first note the honest innocence of young children. You realize that essentially all children under 6 years of age are Zons, innocent, uncorrupt, honest. You notice how all such children struggle to obtain objective knowledge, not illusions. These children strive for value-producing powers, not socially destructive pragmatisms. Then you realize how all parents and adults in this anti-civilizations are deluded by the humanoid rulers, humanoids who eventually corrupt and then bury the innocence, honesty, and power within every young child. Only through that ultimate crime inflicted on all children has this bizarre anti-civilization been penetrated since its creator, Pluto, 23 centuries ago. You wonder why the AC world beats on us every day. They've had 2,300 years of practice and 23 years of brainwashing. They are responsible. The people who took this writings from Pluto and put it into actions are responsible for every death that this world has ever seen since then. Because there's no escaping the AC world right now. So yes, we all will die unless we change it. So they have killed everybody, including themselves. Including themselves. The power that they hold, that we give them, makes them so strong that we can't fight them because we constantly give it away. We constantly give it away to them. If we all just stop voting, since this is the primary season right now, it would have been a flop Tuesday if nobody went to the polls instead of this Super Tuesday. All to bow down to one or two people now who's going to control our lives if they become president. Of course, we're letting them control us. And is it going to get any better? Of course not. So we have to start to realize what they're doing to our children and to many of us, our grandchildren now. they poison. You know, if you drive by a school and it's playground time, and you see all these kindergartners or first and second graders, and they're running around, and they're happy, and they're noisy, and they have a whole bunch of joy in their faces, because they haven't been poisoned yet. They're just being themselves. And then we send them to the schools, and as parents, oh, look, man, my kid's going to school now. I'm so proud of them. And yet, we're sending them to their death, because they're going to destroy their minds. They're going to wipe it clean, just like they did to us, and just like our parents and their parents, and 2,300 years of this has been going on. This is a crime against humanity. It's genocide. And this is what they do to us. I mean, you know, in this country, it's genocide. But nobody will call it that. Why? Because most of us are dying one at a time. I mean, it's not like the government's going out there digging these long graves and just shooting us and burying us. No, it's the food. It's the air. It's the stupid rules and regulations they have. It's the drugs. It's the hospitals. It's cancer. All these things that we shouldn't have because they won't give us the cures. So they kill us off one at a time. And we name schools after these people and streets, and we give them holidays, and we give them all this money, and we give them fame and fortune. And they kill us. And they don't care because they're humanoids. That's what a Zon is. That's why we have to start becoming a Zon. Brush off this AC world. Get rid of it. It's not going to penetrate me anymore. That's what we must do. We do it for ourselves. We do it for our family. We do it for the world. Because it's not going to get any better under the system it's under now. It just gets worse. So then he talks about, after this, he talks about real and imaginary killing of human beings. And he has always spoke about this. And he gives two simple examples. And he's very headstrong on both of these examples. The unhealthy fattening of Americans, and he was writing about this well before we knew all this stuff was really happening. And the emotional charged abortion issue. Two things that he is very, very strong on. And he says the wide scope accounting provides completely different perspectives on these two problems. Link them together in unexpected ways, and they deliver powerful, definite solutions to each based on universal laws. And then he goes into it. And he talks about, and he's a real advocate against obesity and sugar. He believes if you take your children to an ice cream parlor and give them ice cream, you should be put in jail. That's how strong he was. When I first read that, I said, whoa, come on, Frank, it's a little... But then the more that you read, the more that you understand about neothink and neotech, the more he's right. We poison our kids. Because there's sugar everywhere. You can't buy hardly a product in a supermarket without having sugar in it. And cancer, it's just like sugar. I mean, we all love sugar. We all love it. If cancer was really good for us, we'd all be walking around as perfect specimens of humanity. We all would be beautiful, and nobody would be heavy, and everybody had these great bodies, and we would all be attractive. Man, if sugar was good for us. But it's not. And just like we love sugar, so does cancer. Cancer thrives on sugar. And if you ever went to an oncology office where people come in and get their chemo treatments, and it's supposed to be leaving like a bad taste in your mouth, well, what do they have on the table? They have sugar candy on the table to take away the bitterness. That makes sense, doesn't it? It's just, that's how crazy it is out there. So he talks about how we all have become obese, and he says, Americans are increasingly living to eat rather than eating to live. And what side of the aisle do you fall on? Are you living to eat, or are you living, or are you eating to live? So if you're not happy with your weight because you love eating, because everything is addictive. Sugar is addictive. All these chemicals that they put in these things, carbohydrates are addictive. Gluten is addictive. So when we try and get off a lot of the carbs, the body's screaming for it because it wants it. And then he talks about Dr. Atkins back in the 70s, and he had one of the most effective diet books ever published, The Diet Revolution. And that's when people started to, and that's when diets became an industry in itself. Some of them work, some of them don't. But the thing about diets, and I'm starting to follow the keto diet a little bit. I'm not into it all the way, but I'm doing a lot of things that they are suggesting because I got to get the carbs down. That's my weakness. Not sugar as much because I just don't take sugar into my house, except for when it's hidden in something. But you got to have that mentality. Again, if you're trying to work towards being a Zion, you'll start taking better care of yourself with the foods that you eat. And if you buy into biological immortality, all that's going to make it easier for you to lose the weight, to stay healthier, to exercise. I'm starting to exercise a lot more now that the weather's, even though it wasn't a bad winter here in Jersey, but still now I can get out on the boardwalk, and I walked every day this week so far. In fact, I was on the beach. I actually went on the beach today, and it was pretty cool. So it's, and then my leg was killing me, but that's a whole other story. But I'm not letting it stop me. So we have to take it, and then this rolls over into the government. He talks about that. We have to get rid of the FDA because they own, the drug companies own the FDA. So that's why there's nothing ever done about all of these sugar-laden cookies and brownies and snacks and drinks. And, you know, every time I see somebody pop open a can of Coke or something, I say, man, I haven't touched soda in so many years because it's just so bad. But he has it that, well, he says that the key to human dietary happiness is the CAS diet. No caffeine, no alcohol, no sugar. And that's his diet. Then he goes over from the food and the fat and the sugar and the drugs like caffeine and everything else, and that the government just shows no interest in importing healthy, sugar-free, caffeine-free beverages. Then he goes into the imaginary killers, and he's talking about abortion here. And he has a very strong opinion about abortion. I would think if he was still alive today, he would be even more angry about abortion because how far they want to take it now. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, that it's right or wrong or whatever. You have to make up your own mind on that. I mean, I think a woman has the right to say yes to an abortion or no. But they want to take it out all 9 months now because they don't think this child inside of you at 9 months they're still not a human being yet. And to me, that's a crock of shit. Excuse the language. That's how I feel about it. But but if a woman wants to have it, I think in the first term, then they have it. It's your body. But after that, they just want to it's really disgusting how they are against life. You know, it's just totally out of whack. And Franco Wiles goes into that in pretty much detail in here. None of these laws that they're pushing out there for food or for abortions or for sugar, for all of these things, it's going against the universal laws. objective law is new. Each is eternal. Moreover, no law, physical, legal, or moral, is valid unless that law is naturally applicated, universally and eternally. When was the last time, if ever, that this country passed a law for the individual? Seriously. Every law is passed now. It's either about a certain race of people, or it's about a certain sex of people, or it's about a certain religion of people, or it's about this. It's never for the individual. If they wrote laws for individuals, we wouldn't have all these problems. Think about that. They're always separating us. They're putting us in it starts out, we're born and we live in a town, or we live in a city, and that's our boundaries there, okay? I was born in New Jersey, so yes, New Jersey's the best state in the country. And then everybody else believes that their state's the best state in the country. And then we all think that the United States is the best country in the whole world, right? But then they just keep breaking it down, just by how we live. Like I know, I was raised right outside of Philadelphia, but I was raised in New Jersey. And I don't know, I think Philadelphia has anywhere between 60 to 80 different neighborhoods, if not more. Each little section is called a different part of the city. So everybody thinks that little section is the best part of Philadelphia. Well, some might think it's the worst part of Philadelphia. But then they break it down into even smaller, like neighborhoods. Okay? Well, my neighborhood, this block is the best block in this whole neighborhood. So we're always surrounded by these boundaries. Right? It's like a fence that's always around us. And then we just brainwash into these things. But we aren't part of the civilization of this world. We should be able to go to any country that we want to, at any time, with no passport, no nothing. This is our world. But governments have separated us. Churches have separated us. So now I was raised I was raised in the 50s. So the Cold War with Russia was as thick as anything. And, we were raised to hate Russians. At that time, I never met a Russian. And they're asking me to hate them. I'm thinking, I wonder, I was like 12 or 13 when the Bay of Pigs was happening. I remember all that. I thought we were all going to die. But I'm thinking one day, as a kid, I'm thinking, I wonder how the Russians really feel about us. Do they hate us too? I never met one at that time. So we are raised with a lot of hatred. Everything against what Azan's about. Everything against what just living and loving is. All these things are just thrown at us, piled on top of us every day. And then when the Olympics came, the only thing that mattered was that if we beat the Russians. We didn't care about any other country. East Germany and Russia. That was the two big countries that we wanted to beat, in Cuba. All right? If we did that, man, we were flying high. It's no wonder we grew up with so many hang-ups. No wonder we grew up with hatred and race and all that other crap that they throw at us. Is he a Democrat? Is he a Republican? Is he black? Is he white? Is he pink or is he yellow? Is he straight or is he gay? It's all these separations, and that's what they do to us. And now with the census coming soon, then they're even going to separate us more. I'm not just Charlie Moore here to the government. I'm a senior citizen. I have 3 different nationalities in me. I have a certain economic class I'm in, and they probably have me under 20 different things, but not one of them says that I'm a human being, and none of you either. All we are is stats on a sheet, but we're not an individual. That's why we have to become Zans, so we can stop this craziness, so we can all be who we want to be and do what we want to do. and make this world the place like the Garden of Eden, supposedly, right? Make this the Garden of Eden, where we can travel, we can go anywhere we want. Everybody's putting into this. Everyone's putting more into society and taking out. Everyone's helping each other out. You got a problem, somebody's going to come along and help you out. Because that's what we are now. Because we know that living is the most important thing in life. That life is so precious. Nothing else comes above it. And right now, it's on the bottom. Nobody cares. Everybody just expects to die. What an awful way to live. We're going to die someday. Right now, we all have a certain number of days left. We don't know when that's going to be. But imagine sitting there and never having to even think about dying anymore. When we become Zons, we don't die. When we finally bring that Zon from inside of us that we always had to full scale, that's biological immortality, baby. We're going to live. This is what's stopping us, is all these things. It's an amazing story here, how he writes this, about Zons and how we can get there and all the steps we have to take and how we're going to feel. You know, he still says that even though we're in this anti-civilization and we don't have to participate, doesn't mean that we can't go out there and enjoy life. Doesn't mean that we can't learn from other people. In fact, he says that basically you will encourage meeting other people and understanding them. So there's always, you know, he never says look bad at people at all. And he doesn't say that we should feel like we're better than them because we are working towards our Zon. No. We're all on the same level. It's just that we have different beliefs right now. So it's amazing how he just took everything, every situation, and that we can overcome it. And wow, it's late. Juanita, sorry, I didn't realize it was going on that long.
No, that's okay,
as I do every week, you know. But
yes, no, but you were on a roll, and you were really covering a lot of deep integrations there, Charlie. not it. Yes. What I grabbed from you was is, you know, when you were talking about the children out at that playground, and that's how we should be feeling every day when we're getting our Zon power on, because when we identify all of these things that are keeping us mutated. I like using that word because Dr. Wallace uses that word a lot. The mutation of the children of the mind. When we start school, I was thinking back about it the first time on the playground. Remembering back that we weren't fighting with each other. We didn't look at each other like, you come from this neighborhood, or you're this color, or you're this, this starts growing from the home, I believe, because that's where it grows, is what they hear from the adults talking to the children. Because the first time I heard that on the playground, I was like, wow, why can't I play with you anymore? You know, it was like, as Zons, we don't have that issue, and that's what we're getting back. We're getting back our innocence by the fully integrated honesty of removing all of those obstacles that have kept us from growing the way we're supposed to be growing. And when you brought up the health part of it, how many times have we had to be aware? And just being in the summits and on the calls with the health calls we've had, Charlie, it's helped me get healthier since I've been in NeoThink. Because of what Dr. Wallace put in all his literature, all his deepest thoughts, and how we are abused, and we've abused our children from just not being aware of the health effects it gives us when we're doing sugar, caffeine, you were talking about carbohydrates, it turns to sugar. So yes, you have to be careful of that. But reading this, what Dr. Wallace put down here, like the protein diet and all that, he was really looking deep within each individual to let them know that you have to use discipline, thought, and control, and be aware yourself and move forward yourself to stay healthier. And the exercise, the aerobics, and everything, you have to be able to start plugging away at that. And it's a change. And Neil thinks it's a change. And it's a good change. And then we're here together, like you said, Charlie, to help each other out. And, you just gave so much integration. I just let you go with it. So it's okay.
Yeah, well, you were saying about, just feeling good every day and all. And that reminded me, I told this story a couple of years ago, because it happened, I think it probably has to be 2, 3, 4 years ago. I'm walking on the beach. It's the middle of the summer. The beach is packed. And I'm walking along with the water, the sand, right? And we're walking down, and this one kid was washed up by a wave, and he had to be 3, 4, 5 years old, something like that. And he's coming out of the water, and he's soaking wet, and he has this look in his face of pure joy, just pure joy. You could, like, if you saw joy in the dictionary, his picture would have been next to it. And it just hit me at that instant. There's a sign, and we should all feel and have that on our face every day, all day long. That joy, like life can't get any better than this. And I hope that kid remembers that feeling as he came out of the water, because it really struck me. And like, think about that kid once in a while, because it was just this. You don't see a face like that much, just pure joy. It was just, wow, life is so good.
Yeah, he was exhilarated by his discovery of how that felt, that feeling, and there wasn't anyone holding him back. Like in our adult world, in this anti-civilization, we're always held back by someone wanting to program something in you or stereotype you, like you said, categorize you. So he didn't have any of that. He was innocent. And that's what we need to go back to.
And, but then I thought, well, when was the last time I had that look on my face? And that's what makes you start to think, why can't I have that every day? Not just as a kid, but through our whole lives. I can't tell you the last time I had that. I had that pure joy on my face. The closest I probably ever came over the years has been at these summits and all, because I'm so happy that I'm there, and I feel so good. And then I start thinking about, wow, we should feel this good every day, and all that stuff goes with it. But when was the last time your face was just pure joy? That's all. Well, it's time to go.
That was it. Well, get some joy, Charlie. Everyone get
I know. That's what we're working hard here for, so all of us can have this joy. But that's what San Diego's going to be about. You are going to feel a lot of joy there. So everyone, thank you for being here.